There's nothing like Speedway. The roar of the bikes and the cars. The race is on, smell the fuel in the air. The crowd comes alive, they're breathing fire. Nothing like Speedway. Nothing like Speedway. Nothing like it. Nothing like Speedway around. Nothing like Speedway around.
Which I don't think we'll go into, Lee. They timed second quick, and no doubt looking for a big run and as many points as they can possibly attain tonight at Geelong.
Yeah, most certainly. I believe we could be getting word on through Avalon for further on details in the top 12 very shortly.
3 and 4 is getting ready to light it up here. The green flag about to wave, and Rocky will be on his way in the Pontiac. Keeping it down nice and low out of the second turn. He'll squirt it down the back. Try and keep it nice and tidy. Remember, very early on in the night, they haven't hot lapped or anything like that. And no one lap track record for the Supers yet. 17.25. 17.25 on lap number 1. You might want to jot that down, folks, for future reference. Rocky's gone in a little deep into the third turn as he comes around now. The checkered flag waves. And a 17.18. It's a bit of a shadow on the screen there. I don't know if that's an 8 or a 9.
I think we've got a 17.19 there for Rocky on his second lap, so slightly quicker on the second lap. We see the immaculate presented Kim Cottrell machine for OG Speed Shop coming out for the first of 2 laps. And as you said, John, one of the few times we've seen time trials here for 4 Super Sedans, and let's see if Kim Cottrell can put this Trans Am up on the front and take the 1 lap record.
If looks were enough to give you fast time, he would get it. Now, I'm not quite sure what's happened there with the beam. Looks as though it was around about a 14.4. It was fast, but I don't think it was quite that quick. So a slight discrepancy there. We'll have a look at the second lap here for Kim Cottrell as he nails it off the final turn. There seems to be problems there with the beam because definitely ended up clicking it around about 18.23, but definitely looked to be in the 17s from here. Well, we're now underway with the Corvette, the number 28 machine of Chris Larrett. He keeps it nice and low and now fires it down the backstretch into the 3-4 turn. Good opportunity for all of these drivers under pressure. Of course, we did see World Series Super Sedans here quite some time back. Of course, we see it with the sprinters all the time. Larrett's looped it in turns 1 and 2. Managed to keep the thing alive, but of course this second lap certainly will not be a good one as he now heads down in towards turns 3 and 4. It's unfortunate. Just misjudged a little, just a tad greasy as you can expect. The checkered flag's about to wave on his second lap. And it looks as though Dave Walsh is coming out now, Lee, in the Tirana in car number 69.
Yes, Dave Walsh coming out to get the green flag from Scott McIntosh there, and no doubt he's looking to put in some two consistent laps there for his for Southcott Motors in the 69 Tirana for Dave Walsh. So as he comes down the back straight past the Speedway City sign, he's got a bit sideways through the corner there and is straightened up, but this lap is, it looks like a slow one for Dave Walsh. Unfortunately, there's still problems with the timing machine, so unfortunately we can't give you times at this stage, but as we come through, hopefully we're getting manual. We've got the stopwatches going up here, manually timing the
yeah, there's not a problem there. Chief timekeeper Barry Frost is on the job there manually, and thank goodness for that. There's obviously a problem with the beam being broken or something of that nature with the timing system. So that appears to be our big disadvantage at the moment.
As we come out, we have Joan Miller coming out, the grandma of Super Sedan Racing for Blair Athol Auto Parts, as John Colby grabs for the stopwatch, does his own timing here. Bear in mind the times which we'll say at the moment, then they will not be the official times, but John will have his stopwatch on Joan Miller now.
Yeah, I'll do my very best for you. Gone for the old Seiko. We'll give you provisional times, and as soon as this is finished, I'll run a couple of doors down and get the official rundown from Barry Frost. I got a 17.67, and look at that as we check out the scoreboard, a 17.66. Well, I don't want to blow my own trumpet there, but not too bad as Joan works her way down through the 3-4 turn. Comes around now to complete the second of her 2 flying laps and records a 17.75. Next out would look to be the number 34 car of Ian Layson. Here he comes for Active Tyre Centre, Competition Automotive Performance Centre, and a couple of other sponsors as well. So for some of these guys that could be perhaps a little inexperienced, it's a big chance for them. Remember, as I said, they haven't been in any heat races yet. Haven't even hot lapped, and out they come for the big time trial. All eyes are on them over a series of 2 laps. And that looks to have been an 18.08. 18.08. First time out for the 34 of Ian Layson. He's working turn number 4 at the moment, just past the reasonably vacant pit stand. Charges down to the line and looks like an 18.48. Already the action set to continue here with the number 31 of Steve Johnson. Looks as though he's set to go for it here. Just runs a little high coming off the second turn, but nothing really to worry about. Continuing to run about mid-track as he squares it up, fires it down the main stretch. 18.05. 18.05 for Steve Johnson. Gets pretty close to the Speedway City signage down the back stretch. Looking nice, good car control from Steve as he gasses it past the start finishing line at 18.15. Here we go again. The number 67, driven ably on this occasion by Steve Vaughan. Purchased this car during the off-season and certainly has been very quick on occasions here at Speedway City this season. You see him now trying to get as much drive off the right rear as he can. That's a good one. 16.88. 16.88. I think clearly the quickest we've seen thus far. Although we did have some discrepancies with Kimmy Cottrell's time, so we'll have to check on that. And a 16.33. 16.33 for Steve Vaughan in the number 67 entry. Provisionally fast time at the moment. Green flag now waves on Al Matthews in car number 26. Proudly sponsored by GTR Mechanical Repairs, Crosskeys Crash Hold Spares, Sealing System Supplies and PJ Signs. Al holding a nice tidy line out of the final turn and records a respectable 16.96. $16.96 for Al. You can see the car driving fairly well off the right rear. And a 16.73. So a good improvement there. Cut it down by a couple of tenths of a second. As the number 74, the Smurf, Stephen Murphy, comes out after a fine third placing at Warrnambool's Premier Speedway last Saturday night. But he did it toughly because he came out of position number 8. He certainly went forward. And he was the best performed of the South Aussies that went over to the daunting, steeply banked Warrnambool's Premier Speedway. A 16.72 on lap number 1 for Murphy.
Yes, Steve Murphy did travel to Warrnambool, as you said, as he comes down the back straight. He went over there and ran very well over there, finished third, and Peter Logue was the winner over there last Saturday night as he comes around for a 16.73 for Stephen Murphy there. As we see Darryl Lorna out on the track now, John. Out there in his immaculate presented super sedan again for Coca-Cola, Hoosier and Barossa.
Some of the bodywork just hanging off already. Looks as though he's been in a tangle or two, doesn't it?
Yeah.
As he heads in through turns 3 and 4, Darryl Lowner in the 21 entry for Nuriopta Auto Wreckers, Stalkers Performance and many, many other sponsors. 17.68. 17.68 I think it was on lap number 1.
I'm sure Daryl's had his crew working overtime this week after he was involved in a bit of a Bengal last week during the Super Sedans 2 weeks ago. So hopefully they got it all sorted out for a 17.80 from what I can see. John, how's your eyes there?
Yeah, I back you up there as Billy Miller for Blair Athol Auto Parts comes out to play in car number 77. Has been a very capable Div 1 Super Sedan pilot for a number of seasons now for Removal Rubbish Company, Elf Performance Oils. What else have we got? Supercharged battery, CK engines, painted Protec, A&I Austral, Steel Eagle and Globe. And Billy, 17.1. 17.1 first time around. As he guns his way down into turn number 3. The big fella will be hoping to break into the 16s this time around. Let's see what he can do as he gasses it past the line. A 17.25. Coming around now will be the SA14 of Paul Zetas for Paul's Tipper Transport. Watching him through turns 1 and 2. Looks pretty good so far as he squares it up and fires it down the back straight. Also getting some support for ACI, Port Parham, Miller's Blair Athol Auto Parts and Distinctive Engineering. Pretty tidy, a 17.39. Nothing to be sneezed at there. Paul keeping it nice and tidy. Just as I say, that just does run a little high, but charges down past the line and records a 17.12.
So we see coming on the back straight now, John, Gil Worthley for the Valley View Constructions. Come around to start his first of 2 laps, getting greeted by the green flag by Scotty McIntosh there. He comes into 1, Gil Worthley. Plants are coming down past the Speedway City sign now on the back straight. Turns into 3, very nice and smooth there. Good car control from Gil. And let's see how he comes around. Gets a little wide coming onto the main straight. A 17.52 there for Gil. So very consistent there for Gil. Let's see how we can go in this second lap as he comes into 3 yet again. Runs a little higher coming out of 4 and is a little bit sideways coming out, but as he comes down for the checker, betters that one slightly by 17.31 there for Gil Worthley.
And making his debut at Speedway City this season, it is car number 8, Peter Drew, coming out in the lovely looking Pontiac, the Rayburn chassis Pontiac. We wish him the best of luck and great to see him out here once again to bolster our Super Sedan ranks this evening. Proudly running for Hancock and Just Wheel Alignment, Collins Refrigerator Transport, Safety Steer, Fat Rat Paint, West Torrens Dyno, Barry Studley Engineering and All Transport Crash. As he takes a big gasp for breath, 17.44. First time out for Drewy, seasoned campaigner. Nice swoopy look about it, this car. Was hoping for bigger things, I think it's fair to say, last season. I wish him well this time around. 17.43, so very consistent. I'd say you'd have to put that down to his vast experience, Lee.
Yes, Peter is a very experienced campaigner, as you mentioned through the call there, John. Unfortunately, didn't have a good run last season, but he's out here and no doubt will make amends for it this season. We see the 27 car of Warren Meisner coming out. Probably haven't seen much of Warren out here from memory. I know he's been a season's campaigner up at Murray Bridge. So let's see how he goes. He runs a little wide coming out of 4. He hits the beam this time around. 17.40 for Warren. So Warren Meisner 17.40 in the 27 car as he comes down long past the Speedway City signage. Turns into 3. Let's see if he can better the time this time around. Warren Meisner breaks the beam for the second time. A 17.08 there for Warren Meisner. So
wasn't too bad. 17.08. That's quicker than perhaps some of his more experienced rivals, and Warren certainly has got a good Pantech set up in the pits. I was having a look when I arrived this evening as one of the big hitters comes out to play in the Camaro, none other than Steve Stewart for Dry Creek Wreckers. Didn't figure all that prominently last Saturday at Warrnambool. I think he finished back in 6th or 7th position. Went over to run with the likes of Peter Logan Company. We know he's very quick here. 17.45. 17.45 first time around for Steve Stewart. No doubt to be hoping for better things. Perhaps they've just missed with the setup here early on. We know he always gets quicker as the night progresses, and there's a 17.26.
As we see out on the track now, John, the 87 car of Robbie Marchant. And as mentioned, this is Robbie's start of his 30th season in Speedway racing, so a very experienced campaigner and well supported there by BP Lyndon Park as well, as Robbie comes in the three. As I said, very experienced campaigner, been around the Speedway scene for years and years. So as he comes around for the first lap, a 17.11. So Robbie Marchant still shows that he has got it to be very quick around the Speedway City circuit as he turns into three now. A little bit sideways, coming halfway through the middle of the corner, but comes out, breaks the beam, gets the checker to 16.91 for Robbie Marchant. So very consistent there for Robbie.
One of the few drivers to sneak into the 16s lead as well, that 16.91. As far as I can see, bearing in mind that we don't have the official times on Kim Cottrell at the moment because there was a slight discrepancy with the timing equipment, but we had Steve Murphy at 16.74. He backed that up with the 16.73, but Steve Vaughan looks to be the man at the moment. 16.33 was a scorching lap, and he backed that up on his first lap with a 16.88. It's quite a drop, isn't it? A half a second in one lap. That was great going from Steve Vaughan. As I said, he showed plenty of speed. Meanwhile, we've got car number 30, Royce Wandon, drifting very high. In fact, makes contact with the concrete. It looks as though his time trialling run has come to a premature end. That's bad luck. Things just seem to get high, and then we can still see the mark on the concrete. But poor old Royce thumped in there, Lee.
Yes, he did hit it very hard there from what I could see up top here, John. Looks like he's done damage to the left front there, and as you said, his time trials has been completed there. And very unfortunate there for Royce. No time there set for Royce Wandon. As you did mention, John, according to our times, unofficially we've got Steve Vaughan, but we will confirm them very shortly. Steve Vaughan put in a 16.33. And that was blindingly quick comparative to what other times we've got down here, including Robbie Marchant.
Getting ready for the green flag and a possible start. Off and running, Peter Boehm away nicely. Luke Dillon goes with him in car number 2. Adam Baines looking around the outside of Snowy White at the moment, but unable to do anything at the present time. Baines now does get underneath Snowy White, who gets a little bit out of shape. The charge is on down into turn number 1. Luke Dillon goes around the outside. Adam Baines looking underneath. Luke Dillon in some trouble. Got right out of the bucket there. Could be some fuel problems for Luke Dillon in car number 2. Adam Baines, meanwhile, has hit the lead. His stealth race car, the number 52 machine, looking very good out in front. He's donning the blue wheel trims tonight as well, making the thing really look the part. Around he comes now, 15.95 for Adam Baines. In the top looking number 52 blue machine. Number 26 of Peter Boehm is second. Then it's car number 6. And Snowy White going better than we've seen in previous weeks. Then we look back to the number 7 of Billahang, and then it's the number 5 of Dud Lambert. The evergreen Dud Lambert, who certainly loves his speed car racing. Adam Baines continuing to show them a merry dance at the moment. The track in good shape, and Adam driving it beautifully. Unfortunately, we were robbed of a real contest here. His arch rival Luke Dillon forced to sit it out. Our man Lee Hanishek trackside has already been over to have a chat with him and will give us the update very shortly. But it's all Adam Baines here with a capital A as he wheels his stealth race car out of 4 down the main stretch. 15.91, staying right on the pole line. Peter Bowen's race looks to have come to an end here down in turn number 4, the number 26 car for City Dismantlers, pointing towards the infield. as the checkered flag comes out for the number 52 of Adam Baines. Good driving, Bainesy. Second spot in the end goes to Snowy White. Top effort from him. And the number 7 of Billahan gets in for third. Dud Lambert will round out the top 4 in your field. Flag this time past the line. Yes, that's exactly what happens. Away goes Rebecca Gantz in car number 13. Michael Lukic's been in pretty good form of late in car number 26 here at this track. The number 10 of Steve Lyons. The Bob Jane T-Mart's currently harassing the 13 of Rebecca Gantz. That goes for the big outside run through turns 3 and 4. Let's see if he can hit the lead. Yeah, Lyons, he does hit the lead in the Datsun. So Rebecca's been dropped back to second spot. The 7 of Travis Fisher currently occupying third. Then we'll look back to the 66 of Brendan Higgs. Higgsy's going okay with the 77 of Matthew Lutz in there somewhere. And the green machine beginning to make some headway as well of Michael Lukic. It's car number 26. Just coming up now to challenge Brendan Higgs. And also the number 7 of Travis Fisher. Higgsy's on the inside. It's great to see some of these youngsters travelling from as far as Mount Gambier and what have you, and also from up in the Riverland. I know many of our regulars here at Speedway City travel from up in the Riverland area, and it certainly is great to have them here. And we wish all of our teams the best of luck this evening. But at the moment, it is the Mount Gambier 10 of Steve Lyons. He started from the pole and he's taking full advantage of that, showing good track speed, and the checkered flag is about to unfurl right now for Lyonsy. In car number 10 comes through and does it beautifully. Second spot to Rebecca Gantz. Third goes to Brendan Higgs, followed by a fast finishing Michael Lukic from the 7 of Travis Fisher. And coming around behind them, Matthew Lutz in 77. Taylor and Charlie will be the 25 of Hayley Tyndall. And the time was beside him, the 4 of Mark Gentle. Eddie Kennewell lurking there somewhere as well as they come around and get ready for the green, which they've got. It's car number 11, Eddie Kennewell, that is away nicely. He's trying to stay up top and get as much drive as he can. It's as though he's utilising a HQ, maybe a HJ or something of that nature, as he gasses it around the outside of Mark Gentle with car number 4. Let's see if he can keep it on the track here. A little slippery through the 3-4 turn for these competitors. Around they come, keeps the foot into the bucket. Julie's workout by the looks of it, and going very well now. The 8 of Boyd Simons beginning to follow in the lead of Eddie Kennewell at the moment, staying up nice and high, and Simons now gets under Mark Gentle for second position, and beginning to come at them now would appear to be oh, there's some drama here. Look out, they're sideways, they're in all directions. Kennewell looks to have looped it. So the new race leader would appear to be Boyd Simons in 8. Then it's the 99 of Clint Garland from the 4 of Mark Gentle. Then Connolly's in there somewhere. There's Kennewell in 11. There's the number 10 of Craig Milne. And I noticed that the Falcon Wag and the 55 of Eki Heitman taking no further part in this, sitting it out on the infield through turns 3 and 4. But it's the Falcon at the moment out in front, the number 8 of Boyd Simons. Beginning to feel some pressure here from Clint Garland in the Broken Hill 99 entry. Clint running with some support. A lot of competitors seem to be encountering strife through the 3-4 turn. One in particular, the 69 of Sean Connolly. He's all over the show. At the moment, it's sideways across the line is Boyd Simons in 8. Garland continues to chase him for mine. They look to be provisionally first and second. Mark Gentle maybe in the number 4 in third place. In fourth, possibly Eddie Kennewell in car number 11. And again, Connolly's come to grief in turn number 3. It's happened about 3 laps on the trot for him. So the leading drivers now make their way in through turns 1 and 2. The 8 of Boyd Simons, the 99 of Clint Garland. Connolly comes past us, so does Mark Gentle in car number 4. There's the 11 of Eddie Kennewell. Eddie gave it everything in the early stages. There's 2 and a bit laps remaining here. They're coming up behind Craig Milne in car number 10. Boyd Simons gives him a serve, sends him towards the infield. And look at that, he's lost the lead in the process. Clint Garland in 99 has said, catch you later, pal. I'm going to take full advantage of this, and he'll roar out of turn number 4 to acknowledge our clerk, of course, who should have the white flag in his hand. Yep, out it comes now for Clint Garland in car number 99 for Kodak Express. And behind him, the 8 of Boyd Simons. Now, in line on the track, Sean Connolly in 69. I don't know whether he's actually third or not. Pretty tough. You'd have to be a full-time lap scorer to keep up with it. Mark Gentle in car number 4. Here's the 11 coming past of Eddie Kennewell. Just got past Craig Milne. There's checkered flag time there for Clint Garland in 99. Boyd Simons are pretty certain they are your first and second place getters. Connolly again gets a little bit taily out of the 3-4 turn. To be seen signs, and it was Mugger Hill Tavern. There's Mark Gentle coming past the line. Start. Peter Taylor gets a pretty good one at that in car number 90. But it's Neil Wesley in the number 49 entry. It certainly has surprised Brian Finlay here. Maybe he got a little better traction out of the 4th turn. Behind them we can see Peter Ware and Maris Verlots. It's Neil Wesley first time around. Looking good for Australian Auto Salvage and a number of other sponsors. Drivers, some of them running very high, looking for traction. Chadwick, one of those, as he begins to hone in on the backside of the number 90, driven by Peter Taylor. But at this stage, it's Brian Finlay up against Neil Wesley. Wesley just a little bit sideways as they work down now into turn number 1. Peter Taylor in the number 90 car continues to run in 3rd place. Finlay looking to the inside of Wesley here. Good driving from the pair of them. Chadwick goes for the big outside run on Taylor. Let's see if he can do it in the Commodore. Commodore up against the Tirana. Another Commodore. Maris Verlots in behind them. Good driving from Chadwick as he cuts it down low and sneaks underneath Peter Taylor down the backstretch. Maris Verlots, seeing him with a slightly different colour this season. The car more predominantly red. Highlander Crash, City Dismantlers, West Torrens Dyno. I think he's got Spires Hecker on the rear of that car as well. Jenkinson and Rutledge duking it out through turns 1 and 2. Andrew Clayton in behind them. And then it would have to be the number 99 of Peter Ware. So it's the number 49 of Neil Wesley continuing to do the job here beautifully for Australian Auto Salvage. SA Queenstown Sawworks, Windsor Radiators, Dynaline and Salisbury Tyre and Mag Centre. Brian Finlay a little bit sideways. Chadwick pouncing on him here, looking to go straight past him, but he can't do it. Shooting for 5 feature race victories on the trot tonight is Brian Chadwick. Yep, you heard right. Shooting for number 5 on the trot. What an imposing run. Been many seasons since we've had somebody dominate street stock feature racing like Brian Chadwick has. He's got a big band of supporters, a huge crew. He certainly worked hard for it. Done his apprenticeship, if you like, has been racing for, would have to be a solid 2 or 3 seasons now, at least. As we watch him just biding his time in 3rd place, watching Brian Finlay, who has got underneath as they go to the line, and he wins it. What a finish there, caught us by surprise. Brian Finlay, a fantastic effort over the line in the Sigma. Relegates the Cortina and Neil Wesley, who did everything right, to 2nd. Brian Chadwick for 3rd. Murphy and Miller on 3. Vaughan and Leon are on 4 as they go for it. Watch Marchant for a possible outside run here, but it's Cottrell who's got the run on the inside. Rocky Caruso fights back in 2nd. Marchant persists with that outside run. Stephen Murphy's taking him on the inside. Marchant not getting the drive he wants up high. And Caruso and Stewart both beginning to pressure the 63 of Kim Cottrell. The drive appears to be on the bottom. Stephen Murphy is nipped underneath the 47 of Steve Stewart. Steve Vaughan looking to do likewise as they come out of the 3-4 turn and run down the main stretch. Cottrell driving 63, the 11 of Rocky Caruso, the 74 of Stephen Murphy. He's now feeling the pressure from Steve Stewart, who shows the Smurf a front wheel in an attempt to worry him out of position, but he can't do it. This is good super sedan racing, there's no doubt about that. Look at them go, the first 5 cars, you just about throw a blanket over them. Stewart underneath Murphy, out of turn number 4, and he's got him. A good pass. Caruso is his next target. He's trying to get under him. The drive's on the pole at the moment. The top not coming in just yet. Steve Vaughan, meanwhile, was ripped underneath Stephen Murphy. And this is a fascinating contest. Kim Cottrell, the Art Metal Coatings OG Speed Shop, Pontiac Firebird, resplendent at the moment. Both with the paint job and, of course, its performance here, leading by about 3 or 4 car lengths. Rocky Caruso for Auto Salvage Auctions, New Spot Motors, and many other sponsors doing it tough here. Under scrutiny from Steve Stewart and Steve Vaughan. No doubt Steve Vaughan will be buoyed by the success that he sampled during the time trial session. Into turn 1 they go. This will be a very drivey track later on. Bill Miller's turns it around in 1. Peter Drew, Robbie Marchant and Darryl Lowner all managed to avoid him. They're coming together now in 3-4. Stewart and Caruso appear to have tangled. They're, I wouldn't say heavily locked together, but they are touching just on the infield as they get set to exit turn number 4. Pretty light contact. Just at a quick glance, you would hope that both will be. Peter Drew, rear of field, so you be the judge as we get ready to go green. Cottrell makes a good start down the back. Whenever they hit that orange cone attached to the rope, they are racing, folks, in case you're not aware. Steve Stewart looks up the inside of Rocky Caruso through turn number 1. Rocky getting reasonable drive, but I think Steve Stewart could have him a touch of deja vu here into 3. Rocky gives him plenty of room. Cottrell gets it sideways, gasses it up once again. Stewart now has got Rocky into turn number 1. Steve Vaughan having a shot at it as well. Behind them, the 74 of Stephen Murphy. He hasn't given up either in his Pontiac. As they come around now, the white flag is out. 1 lap remaining. Kim Cottrell, if he can keep it together down the back straight and through the final 2 turns, about to sample a victory. Vaughan putting the pressure on Caruso. It's not over yet. Here comes Stewart down to the wire. It's Cottrell. Almost takes some paint off the Pontiac across the line. That is superb super sedan racing. For mine, it was Kim Cottrell over Steve Stewart. Not sure who got in for third of Mike Figlamini and company over in the west. Scott McIntosh ready to ignite these guys into action. What a start from Adam Baines, and look at Dylan. He soars around the outside of them. Big stuff on the outside line. He's renowned for that. This youngster, only I think the tender age of 17, standing on the loud pedal with everything he's got. Brilliant stuff. Adam Baines would have been happy with himself. Would have been thinking, yes, good stuff. What a start. I'll dive up the inside. Then all of a sudden, entering from stage right is the number 2 of Luke Dillon, the Sprint Auto Parts rocket ship. That Fontana firing magnificently now. Peter Bowen back in 3rd, then it's Billahang, Dud Lambert, Steve Monk, and the 6 of Snowy White, who appears to be circulating quite slowly. Must have a problem. Our leaders really going for it here. Adam Baines desperate to make up some ground on his nemesis, but Luke Dillon, he's on fire here as he flies out of the final turn and down the main chute. I have to put the stopwatch on him. See exactly what he's doing. I'll wait till he comes around again. He should have 3 laps remaining. But I would say probably lapping at least in the 15s. I'll put the stopwatch on him for you, folks. That Murphy race car with the big number 2, the yellow 2 on the tail tank, going well. The stealth race car of Adam Baines in 2nd spot. Then it's Peter Boehm in 3rd. As our leader now comes up to lap some slower competitors. 15.10. Luke Dillon doing it like a veteran as he dives underneath Snowy White and Dud Lambert. He's coming up to Steve Monk now, forced to get out of it. Almost touched tyres. White flag out now for Luke Dillon. A 15.80 in traffic. He's clear now. We'll see what he does. over the final circulation. The Sprint Auto Parts rocket ship has driven a great race as the checkered flag falls. A 15-1 on the last lap. Well done to Luke Dillon. The 52 of Adam Baines for Baines Performance Engine, Sliders, Machining Services and Platt Paint and Panel finishes second. And third place goes to the number 26 of Peter Boehm. Pete running for City Dismantlers. And we've gone green already. The 8 of Boyd Simons away, but have a look at the 11 of Eddie Kennewell, takes him up high, tried to plant him in the concrete. The 8 of Boyd Simons comes back at him now. At the field beginning to spread themselves out, but most definitely the 8 of Boyd Simons showing them how it should be done here in the Falcon. Behind them, the 11 of Eddie Kennewell. Then we got the Triple O. Toomsy beginning to make up some ground. Clint Garland in some trouble. Looks like he's got a flat tyre. Flat outside front. So around comes our leader, the number 8 of Boyd Simons with 6 laps remaining. A couple of others have joined Garland on the infield. One is Sean Connolly in 69, and now we've got the 55 of Eki Heitman. He's on the burnout pad. What's he going to do? Is he going to christen our burnout pad, perhaps? No, I don't think so. That's all going to happen here next Saturday, folks. If you're wondering what that bitumen is all about there, just on the inside of turn number 2. Now, if you haven't got anything planned, even if you have, you might want to think about cancelling because it is going to be big. The burnout comp with a couple of grand up for grabs. You might want to talk to the front office this evening if you think you've got what it takes. Some trouble down here into turn number 1. Toomsy and also Eddie Kennewell have it coming together. Nothing new for them. Biff and barge, plenty of contact. It's what Fender Bender Racing is all about. Toomsy just lining him up now as they head down the main chute. Let's see what he can do against Kennewell through turns 1 and 2. I think from memory they're all chasing the 8 of Boyd Simons. He's showing them how it should be done, but it's Toomsy who's doing all the chasing here, trying to plant one on Kennewell. Kennewell's gone very high. Toomsy gets up the inside. Bit of a David versus Goliath battle here, but they give each other a bit of racing room for the moment. Look at this, the 4 has been turned around, coming out of turn 4. Mark Gentle, the 8 of Boyd Simons, has said, get out of my way, son. You're holding me up. Here comes the 11 of Eddie Kennewell. Goes around the outside. Toomsy goes for him up the inside, but just couldn't quite hit him. Meanwhile, the 8 of Boyd Simons, the XD Ford, running the V8, I think, has already come around, but the checkered flag is going to wave on these runners as they come across the line now. Mark Gentle, Toomsy and Kennewell, side by side, as they make their way in through turns 1 and 2. And of Super Sedan Racing, Matthews, Chris Larrett out of 3, Dave Walsh looks to be coming out of 4. The start of the Z, go for it, Layson has speared right. Cars going in all directions. Could have been forgiven for thinking that this is the Fender Benders Heat 3. Cars going in all directions. Let's hope that Ian is okay. It's the 3-point safety harness, let's hope, was nice and tight.
John, so give him a hand, ladies and gentlemen. Ian's out of the car. He is all right, so let's see how he goes.
Yeah, that is good news. Thank goodness he is okay. Give it everything. Over 10 laps at Speedway City, we're away. Alan Matthews out jumped there by Chris Larrett, but he manages to round him up on the mid-track line. We'll see what he can do now. Warren Meissner beginning to make up some time as well as they approach turn number 3. Paul Zetas is there in 4th place. Then it's Steve Johnson holding down 5th. They're being followed by the the 7 I should say, of Joan Miller. Wrong heat. And it's the 43 of Gil Worthley with the 69 of Dave Walsh. Steve Johnson now getting a little anxious in car number 31. Ran well in the time trials. He's got Paul Zetas right in front of him. Zetas now slips up the inside of Chris Larrett. Johnson goes with him in a good pass. Zetas gets a little bit of oversteer coming out of 2. Track beginning to bed in nicely now. So the first 4 running cleanly at the moment. 3 down, 7 remaining. Alan Matthews in command in the Pontiac. Warren Meissner continuing to run well in second. Zetas has nearly overdone it out of 4. Now overdoes it the other way. And is just about set to resume from rear of the field. It looks as though he might be going to park it. So it's Al Matthews heading down the main stretch now at the halfway mark in this event. Campaigning with many supporters, including GTR Mechanical Repairs, Cross Keys Crash Hold Spares, Sealing System Supplies and PJ Signs. That's our race leader. And we've got the Murray Bridge 27, Warren Meissner for OAMPS Insurance, Dermody Petroleum and Roanoke Transport. Steve Johnson in the 31 runs for Umali Garage, Outlaw Speed Shop, Taylene's Picture Framing and Quinn Engineering. He's your 3rd place runner at the moment. Running in 4th, we've got the 43 of Gil Worthley for Valley View Constructions. Two laps now to go for Alan Matthews in car number 26. Warren Meissner doing everything in his power to make up some ground. Stephen Johnson, that nicely presented number 31 car. He's there in position number 3. Gil Worthley continues to round out the 4. The white flag is now out. So Alan Matthews getting set to sample the victory. There's the checkered flag. A good drive from Al Matthews. 2 minutes 52.24. The provisional placings. Alan Matthews the victor. Warren Meissner for 2nd. Steve Johnson for 3rd. Gil Worthley for 4th. 5th place to Chris Larrett, followed by Joan Miller in car number 7. Action now underway. The number 55 entry, looking to make the most of pole position. That's Bryce McKellar as they work their way through turns 1 and 2. Something may have to give here. They're running 3 wide down the back stretch. And it looks as though the 119 beginning to make up some ground here. Going for the big outside run. That's Phil Hayes. Listed as Terry Hayes here on the computer printout. So we'll have to try and check that one out for you. But at the moment, definitely the 55 of Bryce McKellar showing them a clean pair of wheels. Neville Glasbrook is there in position number 2. Being hotly pursued by Paul Forbes driving the number 31 Cortina. Then it's Kevin Bickle in the Charger from the Hayesmobile. Then we look back to the number 93 of Rick Skuse. Good to see the animals persisted with the Charger. A couple of Chargers side by side. Ricky Skuse and Kevin Bickle. They're right up behind the 31 of Paul Forbes. And it's on at the front as well. Bryce McKellar up against Neville Glasbrook in 61. Glasbrook has been in reasonable form this season. Takes it with an outside run, so drama down the main stretch. And looks as though the 40 of Scott Mason was on the infield there attempting to lower the lawn. Now his old sparring partner Paris Charles seemed to have a problem coming out of 2 and has lost a lot of ground. But at the moment it's Neville Glasbrook looking good with the 55 of Bryce McKellar in behind him. And it's the Hayesmobile in 119, followed by Kevin Bickle. Then the 31 of Paul Forbes, Rick Skuse, big puff of smoke a moment ago. Then we look back to the number 53 of Raymond Headley. Raymond's being followed by the 60 of Otto Singer. Then it's the number 40 of Scott Mason. Paris Charles up near the concrete there. He's just touched it. But continues on, and Mason showing quite a good turn of speed here, making up a lot of ground on those drivers directly in front of him. can anybody stop Neville Glasbrook? That's the question. Out of turn number 4. Cruises down the main stretch to the white flag from Kerry McCarthy. Bryce McKellar finding it difficult in 55. Kevin Bickle getting ready to deal with him now as they wind their way around turns 1 and 2. Watch for Mason as well in the Commodore as he comes up to Ray Headley. He should shoot around the outside of him. Here's the checkered flag. Neville Glasbrook in 61. Did it in a canter from position number 8. Well done. Oh, sideways across the line. I think Kevin Bickle got it. Unbelievable finish there between Bryce McKellar and Kevin Bickle. And the big charger said, look out. I'm coming through like a big steamroller. In behind them, I think it was the 31 of Forbes. We had the Hayesmobile in there somewhere. Scott waved in their visors and they'll be away. I'm not quite sure what's happening there with poor old Dud. Seems to have dropped a cylinder or two. Always happens. Give someone a rap, have a problem. But Steve Monk and Snowy White, they're going for it here. A couple of different racing lines coming into play. Unfortunate that Luke Dillon couldn't get fired up a few moments ago. That'll be a fact that's worrying Father Gary, no doubt, and Dud Lambert. The sprightly veteran now heads to the infield. It was that big rap that we gave him. Put the mockers on him. Stephen Monk now closes in on Snowy White as they work their way down the back. Updated equipment this year has Monk as they work their way through the 3-4 turn. He's sitting right on the rear push bar of Snow as they fly down the main stretch. Let's see what he can do. He's got a couple of laps now to do it in. Down the back chute, Monk appears to be a little quicker, but Snowy, to his credit, running well this evening. It's been good to see. There are now only 1 lap remaining. Still 1 or 2 car lengths in it. Snowy White versus Stephen Monk as they approach the 3-4 turn. Monk lining him up for a run. Snowy trying to keep it nice and smooth, and Snowy White takes it out in Geelong World Series Sprint Cars tonight. We have a start here. Fair bit of action as they enter turns 1 and 2. Brendan Higgs in car number 66, currently your pace setter. 26 of Michael Lukic, the lean, mean green machine. Chasing him into turn number 3. The 7 of Travis Fisher holding on in 3rd. And we got Stephen Lyons, who was very quick in the first encounter. A little bit of paint swapping going on into turn number 1. These young tyros, Higgsy and Lukic, no love lost between them. And the 10 of Stephen Lyons for Bob Jane T-Marts. He's beginning to make up some ground now as they work their way through turns 3 and 4. 2 laps now remaining. Michael Lukic, the 14-year-old, out in front. Brendan Higgs, also 14 years of age, sitting in behind him. And Steve Lyons, the 12-year-old, out of Mount Gambier for Bob Jane T-Marts, as I mentioned. Then we look back to the number 7 of Travis Fisher, the Fisher's Auto Dismantlers, Bordertown. He's 12 years of age and running in 4th as the white flag comes out. Rebecca Gantz is next in car number 13. Rebecca's 14 years of age, running for Shane Best Motorsport and Cobdogla Caravan Park. Getting pressured by Matthew Lutz, the 12-year-old at the moment, in car number 77. But it's checkered flag time, and Michael Lukic is going to take it out. 66 of Higgsy for second, a rollover in turns 3 and 4. Heat 3 was won by our own Trevor Green, who didn't time trial because he blew an engine in hot laps and had to change engines consequently. Darren Maggs was second and Wayne Milburn was third. Heat 4 was won by Anthony Lambert, with Phil March zooming up to second. Tim McCubbin third. Chaz Calandro was victorious in Heat 5 over Trevor Green and Mark Reuter. Heat 6 was won by Mike Van Bremen, with Brian Farrell from WA second and Rob Rankin third. Just repeating for you, Phil March, top point scorer, drew an inverted 2 for the Goodyear Eagle Trophy Dash. Lee.
Yes, John, Matthew Lutz is out of the car. He is all right. He's just a bit shaken. It's the first time he's ever sort of been over in a car, rolled.
To give them the spark that they need to fire into action. It comes. green light has been given as car number 8, Boyd Simons, goes for the big outside. Right over goes Toomsy. Second roll of the night. Spectacular at that in turn number 1. The triple O, Jeff Toombs, up and over. Oh, Dave McNabb cringing once again. Not one, but 2 rollovers thus far. Well, that's what Fender Bender Racing is all about. They've come with a big reputation. Things like this, we're told, happen at every single race meeting. And Toomsy now is being rolled right side up. We'll see how he goes. Did skid along on the roof of the thing for quite some time. The gas man down there assessing the damage. Oh, a big effort there from Jeff Toombs. Just got a little sideways, fair bit of traction down there. Not quite sure exactly who it was that he made contact with now. They're just checking on his safety, of course, of paramount importance. We hope that Jeff is okay. A Tirana for JT Racing, BC Signs and Silver City 4x4. Our Lethal Lee was getting ready to give us an update, but he's just heading back over there now to assess the situation one more time. So a solid red, and this is basically this and possibly the case of a fire with one of the cars. About the only time where you'll see the red light come on and these guys come to a complete halt. Sometimes if there's a spin, the yellow light comes on, but they continue racing. What do you got, Gasman?
Yes, John, unfortunately for Jeff Toombs, as you saw, the car did go over, and he is okay, Jeff, but unfortunately for him, the battery was starting to leak as it was upside down. That was the rush of getting it straight back onto his wheels. He had a bit of battery acid on one of his legs, but the doctor's over there attending that as we speak, but he's out of the car now for the second roll in as many races.
These drivers getting ready for take 2. Green now out, Fender Benders, heat number 3. The 8 of Boyd Simons staying pretty high. 99 of Clint Garland. He's in the lead at the moment. Bit of biff and barge out of 2. Oh, into the concrete goes the 8 of Boyd Simons. I don't think he's going to win that battle. Our concrete safety wall certainly won many a battle against plenty of contenders, plenty of competitors over the years. And the drama continues out of turn number 2. Number 8 of Boyd Simons blows past. Now gets sideways, might have a tyre going away, but he keeps the foot in the bucket. I think these guys would worry, even if they had them on the rim, they would keep going for it. But it's the 99 of Clint Garland showing them how it should be done. The 8 of Simons in some trouble again, fishtailing his way down the backstretch. Through comes Garland, looking good at the moment. The 8 of Boyd Simons in there behind him. He's got the 11 of Eddie Kennewell giving his very best. Our race leader has slowed it right up. I don't know whether he's got a problem or whether he's just waiting for them. Here we go, a bit of a serve in 3. Kennewell has shown the 8 how it should be done at Boyd Simons, and Simons very nearly became the second guy to roll in the same corner in as many races. Front outside wheel absolutely collapsed on the Falcon. Chase is on now, Eddie Kennewell trying to catch up to Clint Garland. Staying up nice and high with 3 laps remaining. Kennewell in the HQ. Clint Garland in the HJ Statesman, if you don't mind. The Kodak Express and Silver City Drilling. Could well become a HJ Statesman versus the HQ combination here. See whether Clint just slows it up at all. One thing's for sure, I reckon Eddie will give it everything he's got here with 1.5 laps remaining. Number 10 of Craig Milne and the TD Cortina for Broken Hill Mining continues to run. Clint keeps it, was keeping it nice and low, now runs a little wide. This will give Eddie a bit of a chance. Into turn number 1 they go. The 11 of Eddie Kennewell gets up the inside of Clint Garland. side by side, and he's got past him, I think. Garland now sideways, he'll try and fight back, but I reckon it's going to be Eddie Kennewell that comes around and accepts the checkered flag. Garland, he's heading for the infield. Victory to Kennewell. Good stuff. Good stuff indeed. Clint Garland in the HJ Statesman comes through in a disgruntled second place. And finishing in third will be car number 10, Craig Milne. Darryl Lowner getting ready to plant his big right boot and go racing. Vaughan alongside him, and it's Vaughan who gets on it quicker. Steve Stewart tries the outside run in the Camaro. Hook it up now and come at them at 1,000,000 miles an hour, but it's Stephen Murphy on the inside of him, who looks up the inside of Darryl Lowner as well. Lowner responds, gets a bit loose, look out! Oh, he saved it beautifully. Lowner was in all sorts of strife. In more strife than the Australian cricketers in a one-day match in the middle order, as Drewy now gets up the inside of him. Caruso just in front of them, Marchant and Stewart. A couple of old sparring partners from many seasons back, going for it for third and fourth. Well, if you're enjoying this, there's more to come in a few weeks' time when World Series sprint cars are in town. I'm sure a good field of supers will front for that. And Steve Vaughan at the moment in the ex-Brad Scotcher car. If I'm not mistaken, that's the same car that Brad Scotcher took to the victory lane in the Australian Championship. The ex-Brad Scotcher Pontiac. As they head down the main stretch and in through 1 and 2. In fact, not only did Brad Scotcher win the Australian Championship, the now retired Brad Scotcher, but I think he also captured the Vic and the SA title in the same year. Vaughan gets a bit crossed up. Here comes the Smurf. Stephen Murphy roars up the inside of him, and he's taken him. Robbie Marchant's still there. Steve Stewart just gave him a bit of a tap, as if to say, come on, pal, up the ante. Let's get up on these young tyros ahead. Let's show them who's boss around Speedway City. Good stuff here. Vaughan's really got that thing driving hard off the right rear. Marchant going well in third. Stewart still there in fourth. Rocky Caruso in fifth. And it's Peter Drew from Kim Cottrell encountering some difficulties this time out. And Darryl Lowner, who has decided to park it. Down into turn 3 territory. Stephen Murphy, Murray Bridge, registered 74, doing it superbly out in front. Steve Vaughan there behind him from Robbie Marchant and Steve Stewart. The pace has certainly lifted in super sedan racing over the past season or two. But it's Steve Murphy, the quickest of the lot at the moment. He's on his last lap of racing. What can Vaughan do? Needs a good run at him, but the Smurf has been very consistent, and I wouldn't reckon would give him anything to work with here whatsoever. Over the line he goes. Stephen Murphy, the winner from Steve Vaughan, Robbie Marchant, Steve Stewart, Rocky Caruso fifth from Peter Drew and Kim Cottrell. Scotty McIntosh getting ready to jump furiously in the air, wave that green flag. He'll do it about now. And away goes Johnson. Anticipated the start very well indeed. Paul Zetas tucks in behind him, and it's the 7 of Joan Miller from Warren Meissner, Chris Larratt, Alan Matthews, and Dave Walsh in the early going as they hook into the 3-4 turn. Johnson through turns 1 and 2. Zetas right there with him. Johnson campaigning for Umali Garage, Outlaw Speed Shop, Taylene's Picture Framing, and Quinn Engineering. Saying about mid-track, Zetas heads for the concrete, but he hung on to it. An anxious moment there. He just upped his heart rate quite a bit, I would reckon, that incident, because we've already seen a couple of drivers try to take on the concrete and finish second best tonight. Zetas now with a better run up the inside into 1. Let's see if he can force the issue here. Johnson trying to cut him off at the chase, but Zetas has got a good run at him out of turn number 2 and eventually takes command of this event. Alan Matthews thinking about an outside run on Joan Miller. Warren Meissner looking at an inside run. It's Meisner that gets the better of Joan. For Blair Athel Auto Parts, Al just a little pensive at this stage, a little apprehensive back in 5th. Chris Larrett continues to run in 6th place, and Dave Walsh in the Tirana rounding out the field. Alan Matthews now decides that there's enough racing room there, gasses it around the outside of Joan Miller. Into turn number 3 they go. Zeta's staying down on the gutter. This will give Johnson an opportunity to make up some ground. A pair of them nose to tail as they scorch down the back with 3.5 laps remaining. Paul Zeta's campaigning proudly for Paul's Tipper Transport, ACI, Port Parham, Miller's Blair Athel Auto Parts and Distinctive Engineering. Warren Meisner running for OAMPS Insurance, Dermody Petroleum and Rauner Transport. Alan Matthews in behind him. Coming out to put a lap on Dave Walsh. Paul Zetas a bit hesitant there. Steve Johnson definitely putting plenty of pressure on him. Alan Matthews doing likewise to Warren Meisner as they work turn number 3. So around they come, white flag out. Johnson, let's see what he does here. He's committing to the mid-track. It's good stuff. He keeps the foot in the bucket. He could get him. He's getting good drive out of 2. Just buzzes that right rear tyre a little. Matthews trying the same thing on Meisner as they go through the final couple of turns. Coming together out in front. Zetas just hangs on from Johnson. Meisner, fast finishing Meisner, Alan Matthews, then Joan Miller. And next will be the 28 of Chris Larrett. At a 6, Matthew Lutz, and at a position number 7, the 66 of Brendan Higgs. These drivers all fired up and ready to give it plenty in their feature race. None more so than the number 13 of Rebecca Gantz. A scintillating start. Watch for the 26 of Michael Lukic as he attempts to storm around the outside of them. Lindsay from Mount Gambier already beginning to force the issue up the inside. Look at them going for it. Lukic has been forced almost into the concrete. In fact, I think he did make contact with the wall. Just ran out of racetrack. Was trying the brave move around the top side of the track. The junior sedans feature about to come at us as the green flag waves, and once again the 13 of Rebecca Gantz has proved that it was no fluke. Look for Stephen Lyons as he tries to roar up the inside. Michael Lukic and Brendan Hicks stay up wide. Someone a little sideways down the backstretch, but it's Higgsy. He's making the early running here at car 66. Looking to move into second place. They're all chasing Rebecca Gantz out of turn number 4. Rebecca leading it, and leading it well. Behind them it's Brendan Higgs driving car number 66. Michael Lukic beginning to make his charge in the green machine, car 26 down the back straight. Next is the 7 of Travis Fisher, with Stephen Lyons a little bit out of sorts in the Dado. Good racing as they come past now with 4 to go. Higgs down the bottom, Rebecca Gantz up wide. Lukic now cuts it down, looking for a tighter run, and the positions change all the time here. Could turn out to be a 2, maybe 3 or 4-way freight train down to the checkered flag. Higgsy staying on the pole line, Lukic mid-track. And Travis Fisher giving his all as well in car number 7. What a great breeding ground this is for our fully fledged V8 Super Sedan stars of tomorrow. Lukic rounds him up around the outside. A fantastic move. He's just been carrying that extra momentum. Yeah, he's going the longer way around, but it appears to be the quicker way around for him at the moment. He gasses it past Brendan Higgs in car number 66. Stephen Lyons in car number 10 now manages to nip up the inside of Rebecca Gantz driving the 13 black car. And the white flag is about to be presented to our race leader, Michael Lukic, the 14-year-old going great guns here in the feature. Brendan Higgs behind him, then Stephen Lyons, Rebecca Gantz, the 7 of Travis Fisher. And beyond that, we've got the 25 of Hayley Tyndall and Matthew Lutz in car number 77. But folks, the 4-way checkered flag waves about to go Michael Lukic's way. Tremendous stuff from him, a superb drive. Brendan Higgs for second. Third place to Stephen Lyons. Rounding out the 4, Rebecca Ganson in 5th position. Car number 7, Travis Fisher. Just awaiting Matthew Lutz, who has performed admirably after rolling the car over. Followed in by the 25 of Hayley Tyndall. 25 Malcara Avenue, Paraka is the address. The numbers appear in your program. But folks, Michael Lukic has got the checkered flag in his hand, so be sure to warm up your hands for him as he cruises around past the main grandstand. I don't think has managed to finish one of these yet. That's Eki Heitman in car number 55. Out of turn number 4, they've gone green. Kenny Cannawall fires up the big HQ, looks to go around the outside as they round turns 1 and 2. 10 of Craig Milne in behind them, and the HJ Statesman of Clint Garland not firing too well at all. A long way back, in fact a half a lap behind the rest of them. But with 7 to go, it's definitely the 11 of Eddie Kennewell. He's showing them how it should be done here with Eki Heitman in behind and the 10 of Craig Milne rounding out the 3. Looks to be a transmission related problem perhaps for the Statesman driver, as the HQ of Eddie Kennewell continues to do the job here. Just rock and rolls his way out of turn number 2, gasses it down the main stretch. The Ford wagon still there in 2nd place. Then we've got the number 10 of Craig Milne. Here comes the man of the moment, Eddie Kennewell in the HQ. Milne beginning to put some pressure on Eki Heitman for 2nd place. It's nose to tail. Milne continuing to look for a run through. Statesman of Garland showing nowhere near the pace that we saw earlier on. Milne now goes through, in no uncertain terms on Eki Heitman. There goes Garland. Catch me Kemp on the boot. Not sure if it's the same Kempy that sometimes comes down and runs the demos here at Speedway City. He's earned a fair keep out of the demos down here as Kempy. There's a bit of biff and barge here with Garland and the 55 of Eki Heitman, but Garland now goes past unopposed. He'll be looking to catch up to Milne before this one is over. 2 laps now remaining for the driver of the number 11, Eddie Kennewell. Milne still in 2nd. Time running out for Garland in the Kodak Express HJ Statesman. And the 55 of Eki Heitman now beginning to slow down a little bit. The white flag has appeared. Eddie Kennewell in complete control, almost a half a lap in front of Craig Milne in car number 10. The 99 of Garland continuing to coast around in 3rd place. And there's the checkered flag. Eddie Kennewell samples victory in this heat number 4. Milne slows up in turn number 4. Garland gives him a wake-up call, storms on by, takes 2nd spot. Well, he was always going to come through there, no matter what the circumstances. Given half a chance, we've seen him drive pretty aggressively in the Statesman as Eki Heitman comes through and rounds out the field. Ryan Finlay setting the pace. Bryce McKellar will do everything he can to go with him in car number 55 as we go green. Maris Velots makes a beautiful start, gets sideways. He's on the gutter as they work into turn number 1. It's Finlay in 36 that leads the way. Yellow lights on. Looks as though they've deemed that there will be a complete restart. Black flag with the white stripe appears to be coming out as well. So somebody will be getting the message that their drive from this point in is subject to a steward's inquiry. And that appears to have gone to the driver sitting outside front row in Bryce McKellar, the number 55 Commodore. So a complete restart, as I mentioned. as we get set to do it all over again. Pace beginning to quicken already as they wind their way through turns 3 and 4. And racing now. Neil Wesley away well, but Brian Finlay should take command through the first turn. He gets a little bit sideways, but it's under control. Brian Chadwick holding down a very good line right on the top of the track. Plenty of traction up there. They go around the outside of Bryce McKellar, who is all sideways, but now regains control through turn number 3. Monkey Jenkinson has begun well. Kevin Bickle likewise in third. Look out down the main chute. Taylor every which way ends up on the infield. It's like he's in a Dodgem car. And now when the Serrano Hadji gets back into the action, well, we'll be cracking a few poor jokes in the past couple of meetings about Taylor and his namesake, the former off spinner, but I'm not going to touch that. Into turn number 1 they go. Brian Finlay out in front. Neil Wesley and Brian Chadwick already right onto them. Wants to prove it's been no fluke over the past 4 meetings. He's looking up the inside of Wesley now. He's tapped the back of him and nearly thrown it away. Finlay continues to lead. The Main North Crash, All Suburbs Bitumen, and many, many other sponsors. Neil Wesley, he's there in second with Brian Chadwick. Monkey Jenkinson up to 4th position. Maris Ballot's already up to 5th. Neville Glasbrook 6th. Kevin Bickle in 7th. Battling with Andrew Clayton, who gets sideways down the back stretch. Chadwick now to the inside of Wesley out of turn number 2. Wesley may have a little more momentum. Chadwick gets sideways midway down the back stretch, and the pair of them continue to run pretty well side by side. 16 laps remaining. Brian Finlay about to encounter lap traffic. The first of them, Paris Charles. Paris Charles in 71 about to be lapped by Brian Finlay as they come out of turn number 4. Brian Chadwick and Neil Wesley coming up quickly as well. Gee, Chadwick nearly hit a slower competitor. Trying to get it down tight. Now he seems to have lost a bit of composure. Wesley sitting right in behind him. There's Maris Ballot's in 4th, beginning to make up some ground in the commode. In behind him, Justin Jenkinson. Then Neville Glasbrook, Andrew Clayton, Alan Rutledge, Terry Hayes, Kevin Bickle, Scott Mason, then Peter Taylor. And they're being followed by the number 31, which is Paul Forbes. So they're bunched up everywhere. Chadwick all of a sudden appears to have got a great run through traffic. He's left Wesley in his wake as he begins to hone in on Brian Finlay. The pair of them fought out the very first feature race of the season, and it looks as though they are set to fight this one out. Finlay, no doubt determined to break Brian Chadwick's winning streak here. He'll be doing everything possible, I'm sure, to grab a feature race win himself, but he's staying down in the bottom. Chadwick running a little higher, and both lines appear fairly even. Lap traffic perhaps could be the big factor here. Chadwick roars up behind him. Maris Ballot's meanwhile has moved into 3rd. Maris running as quick, I feel, as our leaders. Finlay around the outside of Paul Forbes driving 31. Chadwick there with him. Down the main straight they go again. 11 to go. 1st and 2nd, very close. 3rd is Maris Ballot. 4th place, Justin Jenkinson, I think. The Monkeys relegated Neil Wesley back to 5th. Next is Andrew Clayton. He's done very well up in 6th place from 14. Just up behind the 60 of Otto Singer. He'll blow on past him. Now in behind him is Neville Glasbrook with Alan Rutledge. And Peter Taylor somewhere in there as well. Chadwick has got a good run out of 2. They're putting a lap on Kevin Bickle now. The 2 Bryans fighting it out through turns 3 and 4. And it's definitely going to take a faultless run from here for Brian Finlay in the yellow Sigma. He's got 9 circulations remaining. Maris Ballot continues to run approximately a quarter of a lap back in position number 3. Wesley now has recovered in 4th from Justin Jenkinson in 5th. Andrew Clayton now bearing down on him in 6th. As our leaders come through again, heavy lap traffic here for Finlay. Gets underneath car number 40. 40 is Scott Mason. Goes around the outside of McKellar. Chadwick, tries to go with him, got squeezed out. Paris Charles is sideways coming out of 4. And Action Jack's at time there for our 2 leaders. Finished somewhere down around 14th position, but we've gone green, and this should be a tremendous finale. Brian Finlay up against Brian Chadwick. The 2 arch rivals set to go head-to-head. Possibly not much lap traffic in it over the last 6. Chadwick's got him with a big outside run. Good stuff as they work into turns 3 and 4. We'll try and pick up the rest of them for you. Wesley still in 3rd spot, feeling the pressure from Andrew Clayton as they come out of turn number 4. Clayton going for the bold outside manoeuvre. May have seen Chadwick do it at the start. Wesley just settles down for a moment in 3rd place in the Cortina. The Commodore of Clayton still there with him. Then it's Alan Rutledge in 5th, Justin Jenkinson in 6th, from Peter Taylor, Neville Glasbrook. But Brian Chadwick, he's beginning to make some distance between himself and Brian Finlay. And it appears as though, barring a mechanical problem or a big lapse in concentration, he is going to record his 5th consecutive feature race win. What a tremendous result if he can do it. Of course, the longer his streak continues, if you work it out as far as the mathematics go, the more likelihood that he's going to drop one eventually. But they've obviously got good support, a lot of sponsors. He's got a big fan club down in turn number 1 and a fantastic crew that support him no end. And that is just proving to be the package to beat at the moment with 3 laps remaining. Paris Charles is just in front of them. So too is one other competitor. So lap traffic is actually coming into it. We'll try and pick up our 3rd place driver, Paris Charles, sideways again out of turn number 4. Through comes Brian Chadwick. Brian Finlay follows him. There's still 2 car lengths in it. We'll look back to 3rd place. Neil Wesley now appears to have settled in that spot. Then it's Alan Rutledge in 4th. From Peter Taylor, Andrew Clayton, Neville Glasbrook. And the caution lights are on. We've got the 55 reversing onto the infield. Bryce McKellar, I think that is. Chadwick gets on it now. He's opened up a length or 2 as they enter turns 3 and 4. Staying about mid-track, Finlay. He'll give it everything now. He's got 2 to do it in if he's good enough. The battle for the minors continue with Neil Wesley, Alan Rutledge, Peter Taylor and Andrew Clayton duking it out. Gee, there's some congestion there. If you don't mind, 3 and 4 abreast down the back chute. Finlay having a go at Chadwick once again. Don't really know where to look here. It's sensational stuff. The 2 Bryans into 1 and 2. Cars going in all directions here. Wesley in 49. He gets up the inside. Rutledge has got the better of it. Wesley's through. Andrew Clayton's in there somewhere. Peter Taylor's in the wall. And Paris Charles facing in the wrong direction. I think the race has been called. The checkers have waved. And it would appear that Brian Chadwick has done it again. Brian Finlay appears to have finished 2nd. Alan Rutledge possibly 3rd. I don't want to go any further. It's an interesting affair to say the very least. I'll just confirm that the declaration has come into play. I would think so. Of course, the clerk, of course, making the declaration. Let me just confirm next door. Yep. Clark, of course, definitely calling it quits. It is all over because they were coming around, of course, to accept the checkered flag. 5 on the trot. The street stock dominator, Brian Chadwick. Come on, let's hear it for him. A sensational effort once again. They're hunting him down week by week. They're trying to knock him off himself here. He might even beat Luke Dillon to it as we go green. That's exactly what he does. Well, the riding was on the wall. Peter Boehm over on the right rear. He better be careful. That was a huge bicycle in turn number 1. Adam Baines, he's going for it here. His car rocking and rolling around this track. His stealth race car. He knows he's got to gas it here because he's seen Luke Dillon get out ahead of him and I wouldn't say demoralised, but defeat him early on. And look at Dillon as he roars past the 26 of Boehm. This will be a contest, I assure you. The young gun up against another youthful competitor in Adam Baines. Out of turn number 2, down the back stretch they go. The chase most definitely is on. 5 and a bit laps remaining. Baines, to his credit, played Luke Dillon at his own game, but Dillon will not toss it in. You've got the stealth race car up against the Murphy chassis as they work in through turns 3 and 4. Dillon's on a mission here, running high, wide and handsome. The Sprint Auto Parts Terrier giving it everything. But for Baines Performance Engines and Sliders Machining Services and Platt Paint and Panel, Adam Baines getting a rough ride in 3. Dillon beginning to catch him. Through they come. I'm not quite sure how many laps remain. Oh, must be 4 now as they work down the back straight. Can this 17-year-old Tyro do it? He's definitely faster through turn number 3. Yeah, that was a better line for Bainesy that time, but Dillon almost up into the draft. There's only about 5 to 7 metres in it. Around turns 3 and 4 they travel. 2 laps now remaining. They're coming up to Snowy White, driving car number 6. Peter Boehm doing well, driving consistently in 3rd. Steve Monk in 4th. But here they come. A slight hesitation here with Snowy White and Luke Dillon will be through. Adam goes the outside. Luke Dillon to the pole line. Oh, brilliant stuff this. These 2 guns of speed car racing in this state, putting on a magnificent display. Here come the checkered flags. Give them a hand, folks. What a race. Adam Baines first, Luke Dillon second. These 2 are going to have some unbelievable races over this season. I can tell you that now. The 26 of Peter Boehm for 3rd. Stephen Monk for 4th position. And what a drive in the end. Adam Baines fighting that thing. He was going for it there. Foot flat to the boards in 3. It bounced around a few times. He's about to accept the checkered flag. He's got it. Come on, hands together for him, folks. What a drive. Adam Baines in car number 52. And Luke Dillon, keep the applause going for him not to be outdone. You better be ready because these guys are wild guys. There's no doubt about that. As we go green, they'll do anything, whatever it takes to win and to make contact with their fellow competitors. Oh, bit of barge in through turn number 1. The HJ Statesman doing a bit of that. Quint Garland now gets it down nice and tight. Cuts across on the 10 of Craig Milne. The 55 Ford wagon just stays nice and wide here. Oh, there's trouble. The 4 of Mark Gentle. He could be gobbled up here. Look at this. Huge hit down the main straight. The 4 of Gentle. Facing in the wrong direction, but don't worry, there'll be no caution here. So he keeps it going. The early model Ford, by the looks of it, he's back into the contest. And Eki Heitman in all sorts of strife. Just rolling very slowly at the moment. Up high, trying to keep out of harm's way. Yeah, I thought Garland was going to give Eki a big crunch there in turn number 1, but decided not to. The 11 of Eddie Kennewell just trying hard in 2nd spot. 3rd place is the 10 of Craig Milne, and then we look back to the number 4 of Mark Gentle, who came to grief down the main straight a few moments ago. So our leader, he's got the Statesman percolating pretty well in this one after a couple of minor problems in his last outing. Staying on the mid-track line with 4 laps remaining, the Kodak Express. 99 of Quint Garland, the 11 of Eddie Kennewell in 2nd position and giving it everything. Gets up pretty close to the concrete. Won't worry him as he straightens it up and runs it down the back. Craig Milne in car number 10 still there in the Cortina, position number 3. And car 4, Mark Gentle, his vehicle refusing to go any further. So unfortunately, the 3 that are left, pretty well spread out. The Statesman reigning supreme. As Garland runs it down the main chute with exactly 2 laps remaining. The 11 of Eddie Kennewell tucked in behind him. Almost a quarter of a lap between them. And Craig Milne just going through the motions here as the white flag comes out for the 99 of Garland, the Kodak Express. Geez, here comes the 11. of Eddie Kennewell. Got very close to the wagon there out of turn number 4. Not much in that. Perhaps just forgot that Eki Heitman's wagon was parked up there. The checkered flag's about to come out. It'll be the Statesman that takes it out. Well done to Clint Garland in Broken Hill 99. The 11 of Eddie Kennewell in for second spot. And the number 10 of Craig Mills should come around and take out the third spot, with Eki Heitman encountering some problems and not running the entire distance. Well, the attrition rate has become a little bit of a factor in the fender benders. We've certainly appreciated their efforts. An action-packed night of racing for them. Had to give him a big monster flag this time around. And there it is, the 99 of Clint Garland. You can show your appreciation to both Clint and the rest of the Fender Bender Brigade and thank them.
Down here trackside, John, we have the drivers of the fender benders from Broken Hill. And if you did not see the flag which the winner took around, he said Broken Hill proud. So not taking the checker flag, they'll take the local Broken Hill flag for the victory lap. And in third place, we have Craig Milne. And Craig's driven all the way from Broken Hill, getting his trophy now from Wendy Turner. And in second place, so Craig Mill just getting his sash and trophy presented by the trophy girl, Wendy Turner. She was just reminiscing about her years back at Rowley Park, being a trophy girl in her younger days. But second place, we had Craig Milne in third place. Craig, not a bad drive, and certainly different racing out there than what we used to down here.
A lot different track. My car hasn't got the power of the V8s, but I stayed away from trouble. So I'd like to thank you all for coming, and thank the Speedway for bringing us here, and we hope you come back soon.
Thanks there, Craig. And in second place, another one, as I said, the Rolt from Broken Hill, and second place, Eddie Kennewell. Eddie, how have you enjoyed yeah, you got the fan club up there. Eddie, how have you enjoyed this trip to Speedway City?
Oh, bloody ripper. Real good.
Certainly bigger than what you used to back home.
Yeah, twice the size, I reckon.
Thanks for that one there, Eddie. And the winner of the inaugural Speedway City Fender Bender Cup, number 99 for Kodak Advanced Films, Clint Garland.
Hello people, how's it going? Oh, it was a ball, mate. Glad to be here. I love every minute. It's a good track. Yeah, I hope to get some more of us down here next time. It's good to get a first. Cheers.
No worries, Clint. Hope you enjoyed the night.
Good stuff, Clint Garland. Very, very happy, as you can expect, taking out the cup this evening. Drove pretty well and was very consistent. And the pace car about to set off on the backstretch. Got a push car in attendance for Robbie Marchant in the Corvette in car number 87. Be on their way shortly now. I can advise you that it'll be helter-skelter over the first couple of laps. Watch for some of the heavy hitters to be diving outside, inside, whatever it takes. To number 5. And Kim Cottrell to his immediate right as well, out of 6. Steve Vaughan has been pretty quick this evening, due to come out of 7. And right alongside him, unless my eyes deceive me, would look to be the 74 of Stephen Murphy. Of course, a little further back, Robbie Marchant and Steve Stewart. We've seen Steve Stewart come from the rear of field only a couple of meetings back and storm his way to the front of the pack. Never to be headed. So we'll see what's going to transpire here. The cross flag situation, all cars look to be underway A-OK, including the 87 of Robbie Marchant. Pace car, I think, being given the signal. Drivers being told that if everything looks good, next time around the green will prevail. Steve Johnson and Paul Zidis on the front row of the grid. Around they come as we go green. Johnson away, the better of the two. Alan Matthews looking to go around the outside as well. Kim Cottrell up high, Stephen Murphy pretty high, but it's Rocky Caruso. I think that'll thread the eye of the needle. He's about due for a feature race win. As I said, he was well placed coming out of 5. As these guys go for it, the drivers at the front of the field know that the hot shots are coming. And they've got two choices really, get on the gas or get out of it and back up awful quickly. Into turn number 3, Cottrell, Murphy and Meissner, 3 wide. And it's still Johnson doing it nicely out in front. Steve Vaughan beginning to hook his car up the Pontiac. He's into 4th. Cottrell around the outside of Alan Matthews. He'll go for Vaughan as well, but he can't get him. The big rush is coming from Peter Drew. He's challenging Marchant. Top racing here, and what a track. They're able to run 2 and 3 wide. Johnson's still out in front, leading by 4 or 5 car lengths. Robbie Marchant manages to get up the inside of Steve Stewart. Stephen Murphy and Peter Drew behind them. Cottrell sideways, drama out of 4. They lock it up, and how did they miss him? That is amazing. That's my advice as these guys get ready to bring these things up to speed. Yep, we're away. 366 cubic inches of V8 power to come your way. A terrific tin tops. Treacherously tackling this tacky Speedway City track. Rocky Caruso beginning to put some pressure on Paul Zidis down into turn number 3. As Johnson continues to clear out in the number 31 car. Notice the front bodywork beginning to flap around a little bit. Let's hope that that doesn't come adrift. Pretty well running, follow the leader at the moment. Marchant looks to the inside of Cottrell. Drew trying to work the top line. Cottrell sideways right in front of Drew, and it stacks on the mill. It's like a fiberglass factory down there, the front end, outside front of Cottrell's car, collapsing completely. Boy, oh boy. Well, that is interesting because the new race car of Kim Cottrell, it's just an observation of what... Racing, Johnson away, Zidis with him. Caruso and company following naturally. So around they come. Vaughan getting serious here. He's given Rocky Caruso a bit of a hurry up. Out of the second turn, down the back straight they go, and now into 3, Rocky. Looking for a mid-track run on Zidis, who gets a little sideways here out of 4. Rocky Caruso makes contact. Here comes Stephen Murphy. He'll zoom up the inside and take both of them. Oh, look out, Johnson, sideways out of 2. Some carnage here. But the serious carnage avoided ended up being pretty light. Wow. Away we go. Paul drops it down to the pole line. Rocky Caruso tucks in there behind him. And Steve Vaughan in the Pontiac. Fiberglass flapping around on Vaughan's car. Stephen Murphy, Rocky looking for a run around the outside, just buzzes the right rear refraction. Big moment for Zidis to try and claim a feature race victory with 12 to go. Rocky's really got no choice. He's got to try and get some momentum up and squirt around the outside. Probably painfully aware as Murphy gets around Vaughan that our leader will probably keep it on the bottom of the track and make whoever it is behind him do it the tough way, a long way around. Rocky will want to watch it because if he stays up there too long and can't find the drive he needs, Stephen Murphy will gobble him up as well. Here he goes now, Zidis gets a bit of understeer, the Murph has got him. Stephen Murphy, he'll go for the lead here as well into 1. Sportsmanlike driving, he could have forced the issue there in 1 a moment ago. Zidis beginning to get a little tired here, Murphy tucks in behind him. Let's see whether Rocky can get the thing wound up. Drewy sideways out of 4, just hangs on to it. Every which way but straight it would appear in this feature race for Peter Drew. His beautiful looking Pontiac. I just can't believe it's so straight and still got all those panels on. Bill Miller, Alan Matthews, Darryl Lowner, Joan Miller, Stephen Johnson, Chris Larrett and Dave Walsh. Now the green's going to come on here. The pace is slow. They've caught him napping as they go around the outside, the inside, everything else. Stephen Murphy hits the lead. Rocky Caruso is in second. Steve Vaughan's there in third. Zidus now trying to fight back. And he must have wondered what was going on when they started zooming around him. The green went, oh, Vaughan sideways. Turn 4 appears to be catching many drivers out. Gets back into the frame, and it's Stephen Murphy now out in front. He'll be looking to streak away with this. Rocky, consistent as always in second place. Third spot, Warren Meissner has done particularly well this evening. They're now getting set to finish it off in fine style. Paul Zidus there in fourth position. Then it's the 77 of Bill Miller, the 26 of Alan Matthews, Darryl Lowner, Steve Vaughan, Steve Johnson, Joan Miller, Chris Larrett and Dave Walsh. Steve Vaughan trying to fight back. Gets up the inside of Darryl Lowner as our leader passes Dave Walsh up the inside. Five to 6 car lengths between them. Bill Miller beginning to pressure the 14 of Paul Zidus down the back. Warren Meissner ahead of them. It's all Stephen Murphy at the moment. As he exits the second corner, runs it down the back with 3.5 remaining. All action now focusing on the battle for third. Zidus, I'm sure, would be pretty savage with what's occurred here. He's trying to put a number on Warren Meissner as they run down the main straight and into turn 1. Bill Miller lurking back there ominously in fifth. In fact, he goes for an outside run on Zidus, puts the Pontiac into 3 and takes fourth position. Let's see whether Billy the Kid can get it up to third. Keeps up on the mid-track line, should get good drive out of turn number 2. Side by side with Meissner, the white flag's out meanwhile for Stephen Murphy. Around comes Bill Miller and Warren Meissner, and Billy has rounded him up. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Stephen Murphy has survived the chaos and driven a beautiful race in taking victory. Rocky Caruso finishes second. Third place to Bill Miller, fourth Warren Meissner, fifth Paul Zidus, sixth place Steve Vaughan, seventh place Alan Matthews, eighth position Darryl Lowner, ninth Steve Johnson, 10th Joan Miller. Stephen Murphy about to accept the checkered flag from Scott McIntosh. He's got it, and be sure to show your appreciation to Stephen Murphy as you get set to leave Speedway City this evening. A top drive it was. He'd be very happy to break the streak of Steve Stewart and claim a feature race of his own as he rolls out of the second turn and down the back. If you aren't leaving the arena now, don't forget, 5:30 sharp next Saturday, the burnout competition will be underway here at Speedway City, so make sure that you let all of your mates know that it's definitely happening here. The burnout pad is in place. If you're into tyre smoking action, this will be the spot to be. Let's hear it for Stephen Murphy one more time for a tremendous drive. Good stuff. I'm sure he'll be very pleased. We'll just mention his sponsors quickly. Murphy's Crash and Towing, Pole Green Earth Moving, Copper Triangle Wreckers, West Torrens Dyno, NYP Radiators, and Copper City Sirens. Well done to Steve Murphy. Now, on behalf of my co-commentator Lee Hanishek, known as the Gas Man, it's John Cobby bidding you a good evening. Look forward to seeing you next Saturday for the Burnout Comp, and following that, it'll be World Series Sprint Cars.